I'm Davey.
I'm Misty.
DM Watts.
Unscripted.
Unedited.
Unapologetic.
Let's get it. What's going on, everybody? I am Davey.
I'm Misty.
And welcome to another episode of DM Watts Podcast. Thank you guys for sticking with us, where we are DM Watts. And you guys, you can find us at dmwattspodcast.com and check a look behind us. You guys know what it is if you're checking us on video. Doge, AMC, Shiba we're part of the Shiba Army and all that other good stuff and streaming services. Did I get all that?
I think so.
You
got the dmwattspodcast.com. That's find us on all the socials.
Yeah, find us on all the socials. dmwattspodcast.com. So we hope everyone had a good weekend. Hope you guys had a good weekend. And so what we can say that over our weekend, you guys may have seen that we did a special.
We did.
We did a special for D-Trail.
Yep.
So you guys please go and check out dtrail.com where you guys can see a lot of his music. And
check out the interview on YouTube.
Yeah.
DM Watts Podcast.
Absolutely. That was a really good interview.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was actually we had fun on that interview.
And we got to premiere his do a sneak peek premiere of his latest hit, Apologies. Which drops 9/18. So
right. So
it was really cool.
Right. If you guys seeing that, check it out. It is definitely something that we are like, wow, we're looking forward to. September 18th. It's called Apologies. So D-Trail out of Alaska. Well, most people don't think, they're like, what's in Alaska? Artists.
Everything's in Alaska.
Everything in Alaska.
Everything you can get here, almost probably.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always heard that you can get everything in Alaska.
True.
Alaska's cool.
Good for fishing. We get that salmon up there. Is it salmon or
Good
salmon?
for hunting. I say salmon.
You say salmon?
Mm-hmm. I don't say salmon.
Yeah.
Get
some good fish.
Name.
Some really good fish up there.
Salmon.
Salmon. I don't know, but some good fishing up there. You know what I mean? Good fish up there.
Hey, It looks like it's your turn for the fishbowl topic.
Well,
welcome.
Fine, that's fine. But before I go into a fishbowl topic, I'm not gonna go into a fishbowl topic without looking up above me and say, hey, vote for Misty. You guys know what it is. Make sure you guys vote for Misty in the Fab Over 40.
Top 10.
I was just about to say somebody has made it to the top 10, and that is because of all her fabulousness. And we thank you guys for your votes.
It's because my husband threatens people.
I don't threaten people. I literally remind them of why they should vote.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's just, I think that's not the same as a threat.
No.
And I don't think that's the same thing. Like, I just remind them of why they should vote. Hey, you should vote. You know what I mean? Because, we don't want anything to happen to.
Fishbowl topic.
Yeah, okay, fishbowl topic. Yeah, fishbowl topic. Vote for Misty. It's flashing, but you guys get it.
Fishbowl topic.
All right, fine. It's my turn for the fishbowl topic. We're gonna go ahead and get a fishbowl topic because, yeah. So
hold on, I got some stuff.
You got some stuff to look up on that one. All right,
we're doing that.
We're doing it, and here's what it is. For those, it don't matter. Whatever. It's credit. It is credit. And I gotta let my wife speak on this first. Or do you want me to speak while you looking it up?
You go ahead, because I just want to get some stuff.
Okay, look. Here's the thing. We hate it. We literally
hate it. It is such a scam.
It is credit is probably one of the biggest scam in history of scams. Let me ask you something. You sit here and you I'm gonna ask you, if you don't get nothing from this episode, get this from it. Things aren't as bad for you as you may think. When you start talking about credit, man, my credit is screwed up and blah, 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 blah. Okay, I can't get no loans. Well, maybe you don't need it. Look at it this way though. When people come, when the creditors come at you, hey, and because I was this way when I met her. It was like, hey, this bill was due yesterday. Oh, snap. If we don't pay this right now,
completely flip
out.
Like, if he was 2 hours late on paying the electric bill, they were going to shut it off. I'm like, where are you from? That doesn't happen. And then your credit card, I'm like, dude, you still have a grace period. Calm down. You'll pay it tomorrow.
And the thing was, I wasn't raised that way, but being, getting into a habit, getting into the habit of,
first off, it's a good habit to have.
Mm-hmm.
You should pay your bills on time. The reason is it will affect your credit. And you can't repair that part of it.
Right.
Unless you pay someone to do that. So, but the fact that it's they're going to do this or do that, I don't understand why people are so hopped up on credit when it's a no-win game. It is a no-win game. and you want to prove that, how many apps are there for you to check your free credit? How many people actually make you pay? We still are paying.
Right. And I got to shut it off.
You.
She's told me before, but I keep forgetting.
We're paying $12 a month for you to check your credit.
And you know what? It's $12.95. So almost $13 a month. But she's right.
It's a ripoff.
Yeah, she's right. It's like, why are you?
Not only
why
that,
are we paying for this?
But that isn't. Then you've got something. So you've got Experian, TransUnion,
Equifax,
and Equifax.
Those three.
None of them are the same.
Nope.
They all judge it differently.
Yep.
The credit scores are constantly rising as to what now is good. Used to be 600 was good, 620, 630. Can I get a 670?
Right. And now, unless you got 700 or 800, they're not even talking to you.
Shit.
They're not talking to you.
More than that now, if you want to rent an apartment in bigger cities, I don't know how it is here in Kansas, but in bigger cities, you guys are going to have a credit score of 700 or more.
And
that's got nothing to do with my credit is coming from my bills and stuff. I have a great rental history, but they're not going to look at that.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
Don't matter.
In order to get a job, you got to have a good credit score.
And that is true. Literally, understand it's getting to where, and for those who listen are not true, I work at Domino's and I don't need a good credit score to work. That's right. You don't.
No.
But you got to understand that.
Don't you want out of Domino's?
Don't you want out of Domino's? That's not something that you plan on making a long-term living about. A lot of jobs now will want to pull your credit score. They will want to pull your credit. Like, what does that have to do with the work that I can do for you? And even whatever the language that they come up with and say, well, it's because of this. And you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. That will not affect the way that I work for you. I'm here for a paycheck to help me boost my credit score.
If you want to work with money, credit score.
Credit score check.
If you want to work with securities, you
gotta
have a security clearance.
Credit score check.
Credit.
But now in some instances, it's necessary. Right. In some instances, like if you want to work with money and you got a poor credit score, the way that companies look at it, if you have a poor credit score and you're working with money, the more susceptible you are to try to steal it.
Yeah.
If you want to work with somewhere, you got to have a clearance, security clearance. And they're like, look, we want to trust this guy with the top secret stuff of the nation.
Credit score.
And you got a bad credit score. They're like, okay, so how hard is it for somebody else to come to them and say, hey, we can boost that credit score if you let us know what the U.S. is up to in Syria or whatever, Russia or whatever. It's just throwing stuff out there. But, it's true but there are some instances where it doesn't make sense. No instances are where it makes sense. But in some, it's just like, wait, what? So you could be going with a great credit score and you miss a payment for 30 days one time, your credit score finna drop like 30 points.
Or better than that, hey, I got some extra money. I'm going to go ahead and pay off that credit card. Nope. Drops your score.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
So now it's like, well, I thought that was a good thing. No, it's not.
It's not a good thing because it shows impulse. It shows that you have no control. Here's the thing. We have both done it. We both paid off cars before.
Yeah.
We paid off cars. I paid off one. And did you pay yours off before it was due to be paid off? And like I paid off mine before it was due to be paid off. It was like, here's one lump sum, got it all out the way. It's like, I feel so good about myself. My credit score was like, yeah, that's terrible. Why? Because they're like, well, you did that off of impulse. It shows you're not responsible enough to just make regular payments. But what does that got to do with anything? I paid it off. It's not I don't see it responsible. I'm tired of having that payment. I'm tired of sitting here and constantly paying the minimum on interest and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And it's like, no, I just want to be able to pay this off. Not have to worry about interest of paying more than what the car is worth or whatever it's worth. Yep, fail. Yeah, that's the way they see it. That's the way they see it. What you got, baby?
I'm going to say this. 61% of Americans, so more than half of Americans have a fair credit score. Fair. This is from Experian, by the way, one of the big three. Fair don't get you shit.
61%. That's more than half of the people in this country.
How much fair is?
Go ahead and enlighten us.
601 to 660.
That's fair. Meaning,
that used to be great.
Yep. Meaning, when they say fair, they're like, like, hey, I got 600 to 6. What you said, 601 to
to 660.
660. That's them saying, you like, hey, can I get this car loan?
Yeah.
Your credit's not bad, but it's not great.
You're still looking at like a $500 car payment.
Right. I'm still want to get you for about 13% interest.
Good credit. Only 38% of Americans have good credit. 38%. And that is 661 to 780.
How many of y'all can raise your hand and say I got a 780 credit score? I mean, first of all, to the ones who are listening to our podcast and they say, well, I can't. Congratulations. That's where it's at. But the majority of people, it ain't even the majority of people listen to this podcast. The majority of people, period.
I remember when 630 was good.
Yeah.
It wasn't even fair. It was good.
Yeah, because it's designed
for you to fail, because
it's designed for you to fail.
Every couple of years they bump it up. So now excellent credit is 780 to 850.
What? Who has that? Who has an 850 credit score?
It really is a system. And then on top of that, so let's go further. Then there's something called a check system. They will sit there and tell you it's not a credit report. The hell it's not. It is what banks use to score you. So not only are you making hurdles for credit report and credit score, but now when it comes to a bank and loans, you're going to go through the check system. And if you have been hit by someone who has stolen your identity and you can prove it, don't even, like, unless you had an excellent lawyer and paid money and had someone pull up your check system, because that's not something you can just go do.
Yeah.
You can't just go, I want to see what my check score is. No, you can't. You can't.
It's not how this works.
And I know this from experience. And then that stops you from getting a job. That stops you from being able to rent an apartment. That stops you from more than you think. I was hit so bad by fraud that I didn't commit and was cleared, completely cleared from it, could prove it, filed a police report. I was hit so bad, could not get a job to save my life, and it had nothing to do with my credit. Could not get a job because on the check system, it put up that I was involved in fraud, not that I had gotten hit and my identity stolen. No, that I was involved in fraud.
Yeah, meaning it could have been her.
It hit me so hard, I was erased from the IRS.
Tell them, baby.
I had to literally go to the IRS because they could no longer find me. I was non-existent. And so you guys need to understand, one, yeah, we have to have credit. That's what makes fucking greed go round and round. And that's what makes the world go round and round. Yes, you can have good credit, but you have to start now. If you're already in your 30s and 40s, man, you've probably already done fucked up. Just saying. But if you're just starting out, get an unsecured credit card, pay for that shit up front. You're not going to be able to negotiate for nothing unless you have a 781 to 850. And it's going to take you 5 years to establish yourself in credit.
And let's play a game here. Let's play the game. All right, because the title of this episode is credit. So let's play the game of what it is that helps boost your credit score up. We're gonna talk about boosting credit score real quick, but trust me, we get it how hard it is. But we still gotta have this talk because it's about credit. Yeah. So we talk about boosting credit score. So baby, what is it? Your credit cards. You got credit cards. Keep your credit cards below 30%. So in other words, let's make this easy. If your credit card limit is $100, that means you don't spend over $30. That's what that means. That means keep your credit going. That means they don't want you to spend over $30 if you have a $100 credit limit. Now, don't get me wrong, the majority of us has more than $100.
Yep.
But that's math in public. I can't do that. So I'm gonna tell you right now, or I'll say $1,000, 30% of $1,000, what, 300? 30%. If you got a $1,000 limit on your credit card, that means they don't want you to spend over $300 because that's sole responsibility. Yep. And not just don't spend over 30%, but are you paying it down? Are you paying the minimum payment? Or every time you spend over, you're like, oh, nope, pay the whole thing down. That's how you build your credit. Keep in mind that when you start talking about things such as that, well, hey, 30% for your credit, but there's that other side of that, right? And it's like, hey, talk about the other stuff that's affecting our credit. Late payments on vehicles, repossessions, evictions. That these are
Eviction.
these are actual things that can affect your credit, not just for a year, not for 2 years. Bankruptcy that stays on your credit for 7 years, people. 7 years. You understand what I'm saying? 7 years, and I thought it went up to 13 years. Am I wrong?
To 13.
It used to be 7 years. It's 13 years. Evictions, they can stay on for 10 and 13 years. Evictions, there are people you can hire that would say we can fix your credit. Yes, they can fix it. It's gonna cost a penny.
Yeah, it is.
It's gonna cost a penny. But here's the thing: it is not the end of the world if you got an eviction on your credit.
No, and it's also
Or
not
bankruptcy.
it's not the end of the world if you have a crap credit score and you've missed a lot of payments because you have no job because COVID. You can literally call them up and negotiate with them, and I don't feel like enough people have done that.
Oh, man. Please
learned
speak on this.
that
Please
at
speak
a
on that.
very young age. You call that credit card company and say, "I'm not paying 27% interest anymore. I'm just not. I will go open another credit card. I will find one. And then I'm just going to put the balance on that. And I promise you, they will
start talking to
say, okay,
Hold on.
this is what we're going to do.
Yep.
If you cancel a credit card, bad.
Yep. I done it.
Bad for your credit.
I've done it. I've
You don't
canceled a
need it
credit
anymore.
card.
But here's the thing, if you don't utilize it, it hits your fucking credit.
Yep.
So here you've got a line of credit open you don't need. You want to get rid of it. Ding. Okay, but then if I use it, ding. Okay, but if I then pay it up, ding. What the fuck are you
Right.
supposed to do?
Credit
There
is
is no good answer for this. It's just not. There's
credit
just
is
not.
nothing but an algorithm. And then here's the thing that there will be people on different YouTubes that say, here's how to fix your credit.
If you've had a credit card open too long, ding. If
Ding.
you haven't opened one in like 4 years, ding. What?
If you are trying to establish credit, ding.
So
So
here's
if you don't have credit and you're like, hey, I really want a car. And here's how they get you, because you're immediately, you don't have a car. You're like, I want to get a car. Okay, cool. Well, you don't have any credit. So you need somebody to co-sign for you. Okay, so now
that's
you're
bad.
holding somebody else responsible. And it's, you know what I mean? At times you can't make the payment and so on and so forth. Now somebody else is probably, I got a co-sign for this. You can't make a payment. Now it's ruining 2 people's credit.
Yeah.
Now it's ruining 2 people's credit.
And in my
that's-
case, it was because I was coming out of a divorce. My credit got totally, we're not going there. Did I say divorce? It was a divorce issue. And so I had to have a car. My car broke down. My mom helped me and co-signed for me. I had a great job, the whole bit. I was diagnosed with fibro 3 months later. And I went from having a very steady income to not being able to walk for 2 months. What do you think that did?
Yeah,
Do you know how shitty I felt?
it is.
Do you know how much I have tried to
Yeah.
like forgive myself for that? You can't. There
Yeah.
is no going back to that. Now, of course, now her credit is back and
Yeah.
but still that guilt, there is no other guilt.
Yeah.
There is no other guilt. So I gotta say this. 90% of the lenders, so all of your loans, your credit cards, all that, use the FICO score. Here is how a FICO score is determined. So your credit is determined on these factors. Your payment history makes up 35% of your credit score.
35%.
Only.
How well you
Only
pay your
35%.
how well you pay if you pay your bills on time.
Credit usage is 30%. How is that fucking possible? How is me paying bills and me using credit damn near the same?
Damn near the same. So that what this is saying is that your credit, your payment history, which is basically how often you pay your bills on time, is 35% of your credit score. The other 30 is
How
are
much
they
of it
are
you
you
use?
using credit?
If you have an open line of credit and you're not using
You're
it,
not using it.
you're
You're
getting
hurting
dinged
yourself.
for it.
You're hurting yourself
If you
because
have an
you-
open line of credit and you use too much of it, you're
You're
getting
getting
dinged
dinged
for it.
because they talk about credit utilization, right?
Yep.
And it's like, okay, so are you using more credit than what you can bring in you can afford to pay on? So it's like, okay, look, which is what they determine on whether or not they're going to give you a credit card, right?
Right.
Your credit debt ratio, whatever it's called, I can't remember, but it's like, hey, is it worth giving this person a credit line of this much? And it's like, they've already got a credit line for this much. They already got a house. They already got a car. They already got, I don't really know. So then it's like, okay, well, how am I supposed to build credit? You can't build credit if it's hard to build credit when you don't have credit, because it's literally like if you're just starting off 18, 19-year-old going to the world,
yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
It's
Because you got to get one of them stupid loans, or you got to go to your parents to co-sign.
Yeah.
And hopefully your parents trust you enough.
Or you get an unsecured credit card. And that still takes a couple of years. Even if you get a car, it's still going to take a couple of years for it to show up properly. The next thing is your age of your credit accounts, 15%. Age of them. Other than that, credit mix is 10%. Do you know what a credit mix is?
Nope, I don't.
You don't have a store credit card.
So unless I get a Lowe's or Kohl's credit card.
Right.
But here's what I got to say about that. Credit mix, that wasn't even consideration before. Didn't used to be a thing.
You got your credit cards from the bank.
Nope. Credit mix was never a thing.
This is the thing, guys. Listen to me very carefully. We used to have MasterCard, Visa, American Express, the Diners Club. And there was
Discover. I remember when Discover was new. It wasn't even a part of it at first.
And I'm sure I'm missing one. But let me tell you something. That was issued by a bank, not your bank, a bank. And it was something special to have. Now, then we didn't have debit cards. That wasn't a thing. You couldn't charge against money you didn't have in your account. Now you can. That didn't used to happen. So then all of a sudden we were able to use our bank cards. We got ATMs, that whole thing. And then they started putting a Visa logo on there or a MasterCard logo on there. Now every charity has a credit card you can sign up for. Everybody wants to be your bank. You can go to Kohl's. Well, you know, if you get a Kohl's debit card and start making purchases and funnel your money through us, we'll give you rewards. What? You're not even a bank. You're where I buy my bra. Why do I want you handling my money? So other than that, new credit inquiries. Ooh, that's something you guys don't think about. Every time you go to see if you can get a car, ding.
They check your credit.
If you want to see if you can get a credit card, ding.
Every time that they get on. Now, there's some instances where the check doesn't, they call it a soft check or something like that.
And
where it doesn't hurt you.
But how the hell are you supposed to know?
You won't know. You go to get a car and they said, well, let's sit down, let's talk about it. They'll check your credit. They check your, that's a hard check that they do. That means all of them. Soft check may be like one of the credit agencies. Let me check one and it's like, oh, okay, we can work with this. A car company, you're going to get a loan for a car. We're going to check all of them and then look into other stuff. And then, of course, 3 weeks later, you'll get a reason why. They'll come back and say, hey, for some reason, they didn't approve you. 3 weeks later, you'll get the letter saying, this is why we didn't approve you. Either you ain't got enough credit or you got too much credit.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, it's designed, the system is designed to screw you over. Because let's think about it. Think about how credit is embedded to every aspect of living. Think about it. It's not just going to get a car payment, getting a car. Your apartment, evictions. You get evicted from your apartment because you come on hard times and they evict you from your apartment.
So let's put it this way, the whole credit utilization thing. I want to explain that.
Go ahead.
So let's say you have 4 credit cards, okay? Let's say it's mixed. Let's say you're doing everything right. Your payments are on time. Fantastic. You have a JCPenney card. You have a Sears card. Well, no, you wouldn't, but you know what I mean. And then you have 2 actual bank credit cards, not your debit card, an actual, like say American Express. Let's say all of those equal to $10,000. That's your limit. So over 4 credit cards, if you add the limit all together, you've got $10,000. Now, you can only use 30% of that. Over the 4 credit cards, you can only use 30% of your total, okay, credit limit. Do you know how much you can spend? $3,000. Am I wrong? That's 30%.
30%.
So on 4 credit cards, each one of those balances together, add those balances together, you better only be at $3,000. God, I hope our math is right. I'm pretty sure it is. 10,000 times 30% is 3.
Yeah, it's 3,000.
Minus 30% is 7,000. It's $3,000. That's crazy. Then why do I have, what happens in an emergency? What happens if I have to have emergency surgery and my credit won't, or my insurance won't cover it?
Better be a millionaire.
I've got to do that. What happens if my water heater and my washer and dryer and everything blows up in one day at my house and I have to buy appliances? What happens if I have to get a deductible and pay for the deductible for this or that, or my car breaks down, or I'm in an accident, or something happens or I end up in jail and Davey needs bail money. What happens then? It could happen.
Yeah.
It could really happen.
How do you bill?
That could happen.
Yeah, I do a GoFundMe for my wife. Hey, let's help me get her out of jail.
I'm just saying, if you ever see that, you better
yeah, like,
that
for
shit
those
through
who are
Facebook
listening,
ads.
y'all better be understanding if it comes through GoFundMe for Misty.
But do you see,
you better be paying attention to
but
it.
do you see how that's, and if my math is wrong, tell me. Don't yell at me because I got
Not
no
today.
problem. I got no problem going to jail.
Yeah, you're
But,
throwing it back.
I'm just saying, like, that's why have it then? I can't use it. But if I don't use it, if I let those balances stay at zero, I'm getting dinged
That's facts.
because I'm not using it. Yet if I buy a pack of gum and pay it off, I'm going to get dinged because I'm still not utilizing it.
Yeah.
So they don't want you to pay it off. Everybody's like, oh, spend whatever and pay it off at the end of the month. No, they don't want you to do that. They want you to pay that. You know why? Because they're not making money off of you. If they're not making money, then they're going to ding your credit.
So what's the solution to that? So, but there's nothing wrong with making double payments. There's nothing wrong with making double payments.
No, there's nothing wrong with making
with triple payments.
But once you pay it down, you better keep using it.
You better keep using it. So there's nothing wrong with, the solution. Look, you're not going to like the solution. It's like, if you make the minimum payment, they're like, that's what they want. Because now for $1,000, which would make, you can pay that off when you get your taxes or whatever, for $1,000 credit limit, and you get this much % interest, they're going to add that interest on to where it's going to take you almost 4 years.
Yeah.
That's average. And no matter what the percentage interest is on,
that's actually low.
It's there.
That's actually a low
number. For a minimum of 4 years. Credit card companies that listen to this are probably like 4 years. Who does that anymore? That's facts. And now they're looking like 10 years for you to pay it because they're counting on you making just a minimum payment. And just enough to get by.
If you want a house, I hate to burst your bubble, but unless it's like a VA backed loan, you better have excellent credit.
And that's why it's so, that's why when you look at people with houses, that's why it's such an accomplishment. Yeah. Because if you ain't never bought a house, when you go to buy one, it is more invasive in your life than surgery.
And
that's facts.
It used to be, because I had looked at it was about 4 or 5 years ago, I had looked up like Habitat for Humanity, and the home building, like you can get a house or whatever. You still have to have a good credit score.
Yeah.
And I'm like, then why are they going through the if they have a good credit score?
Right, because most of the people who need one don't have a good credit score.
So see, that's something else that things are designed to do. It's like, yeah, but I'm actually literally why they designed it. Yeah, but the bank's got a hold of it and said, we're not making any money.
Yeah.
So none of it makes sense. Systems, they will sit there and tell you are designed to help us. It is absolutely not. They are making sure that those few percents stay in the few percents, that nobody is able to acquire wealth. It does not matter. You are born into a system. I'm sorry, here I go. You're born into a system. You are classified immediately.
It's like the
Matrix.
Is
not a fucking conspiracy theory.
Like the Matrix.
They do it in schools. You literally, they will tell you. They put kids in houses, whether they call it a house or not, and they start separating them out. It is a machine. And that is what you're born into, is you're born into a machine. If you're lucky enough to be born into, well, there's no more upper middle class. Shit, there's no more middle class.
That's true.
So if you were born and lucky enough, you have then maybe attainable generational wealth. But if you're born where we were, you got to make moves early on, and you've got to, from 18 to 40, you better hope you had a steady career in the military. Because that's the only way you're going to have anything attainable anymore. And that sucks too, because nobody knows what the hell they want to do with their life when they're 18.
Facts.
19, 20, 21. Very few people know what they want with the rest of their life.
Right. But and that's the thing, that the system is designed to screw you early off.
It really is. And if you don't believe me, watch a Trevor Noah thing. Watch, what was the other guy that he's not on Netflix anymore? We used to watch him once a week.
Aziz Ansari. It's Patriot Act.
Patriot Act.
It wasn't Aziz Ansari. I can't remember his name.
Go back to the Patriot Act. Look it up. It's called the Patriot Act. It was a television show. He did an amazing special on credit, and it is true. Mm-hmm. Watch Adam Ruins Everything on Credit. Watch shows. Google
Educate
it.
Yourself.
Educate
yourself and figure it out. Look.
It's a scam.
Look, everything we say can't be ha ha he he. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is like this, I realize it's kind of more of a serious note,
and
but
if
at
you
the
don't
same
agree,
time,
cool, DM Watts podcast at
gmail.com.
gmail.com.
You guys know where to find
Attention,
us.
Misty.
You guys know where to find us.
Because I can, you know, I always admit when I'm wrong. Like I am the first one to be like, that was wrong information.
Yep.
I'm not here to do that. This podcast is our opinion. It's also stemming from my experience.
Yep.
My unique experience and what has happened to me. And then he had to see it for himself when stuff happened. And you were like, that's not how that works. I'm like, yeah, it is. Yeah. And you're getting ready to find out. Unfortunately, it wasn't his doing, but being the generous and co-signing, don't do it, people.
It's not always a good thing every time. Don't do it. As soon as they don't pay, then they look at it as you not paying either. So just keep that in mind. Everything that happens to them, hard fall. So I can tell you right now, if they not paying, then they look at it as both of you not paying.
Yeah.
So whatever happens to them with them not paying the car payment or house or whatever it is that you co-sign for, you're gonna get the fall also. You're gonna get the fall, and those people that you co-sign for, I ain't gonna say they couldn't care less, but at the same time, if they're doing this to you, it's like, if they don't notify you, that is a fact. They can care less. So
just be careful. You have to be careful out there. Credit like your name.
True.
And here's the thing: is what I'm saying. There's no way around it. It's always going to go up. Just when you reach that attainable holy grail of an excellent credit score, they're going to take it from you and they're going to raise it 20 more points or 50 more points or 100 more points. And then you're going to be like, but wait, I just had this. Yep, doesn't matter. Because you know what? Scores keep going up.
Right. But they also adjust sometimes. So you just give them a little while. But the problem with giving it a little while, most of us don't have 6 months. Don't want to wait 6 months.
And I also
for this stuff to take that long to get to.
Sure, but I want everybody to know before we sign off, you can get your free credit report. There are apps, good ones. You can write and get a paper copy. You can also dispute it right there from an app.
Truth.
You can go through your stuff and go, guys, this has been longer than 13 years.
Truth.
This wasn't even mine. I've never had that. I never had a credit card there. Be diligent, because that is the only way you're going to find out if you have had a fraudulent claim on you.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with freecreditreport.com. We're not knocking everything, but understand, before the freecreditreport.coms, before all these other different credit report checking stuff, did you not know that every single one of the bureaus will allow you to get a free credit report?
Yep.
Period. You can get on their website and they're like, yeah, we'll send it to you for free once a year. You get one once a year. One free credit report a year.
But if you have, I'm not trying to push anybody, but if I have Credit Karma. Yep. I can look at it at any time. Anytime. I don't have to go anywhere. But it was after that the fraud had happened to me. And basically what happened is somebody dumped a bunch of money into my bank account and then withdrew more than what they put in. A lot more.
There you go.
And Bank of America thought that I had done it, even though I'd been a customer with them for years.
Yep.
And had never had an issue. And they said that I did it. And I didn't. And I had to go to the Attorney General of the state. I filed a police report. I went through all of this. I talked to the investigators of the bank. The investigators of the bank cleared me, proved it, talked to me. They cleared my name. Bank of America said, doesn't matter. She was involved in fraud because it was her name. The investigator didn't know that they did that because that was a different department than him. I then had to send the investigator the paperwork proving of what I got from Bank of America, where he worked, that I was now put in the check system as fraud and was not to be given a bank account. It took me 6 years before I could get a normal bank account. I had a bank at credit unions.
These are true stories.
Because I couldn't get a normal bank.
And these are true stories. So
for something I didn't even do.
Right. So you guys, look, we get it.
Sorry, that was a long
No, but it's fine though. Like, we get it.
You gotta be careful.
Everything can't be all shits and giggles when it comes to this podcast. And so at the end of the day, like, it's in all seriousness.
More giggles than shit.
I'm just you get what I'm saying.
Just saying.
But seriously, like, sometimes we gotta have that serious talk. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. So take
care of your credit.
Take care of your credit.
Protect it.
That's right. Go ahead and look, find all those things with Google. how to repair it. All that. There's a lot of good information out there for ways to do it. Don't just rely on, if I make a minimum payment, you're wrong.
May the odds be in your favor.
But that's for fact. That's for fact, and that's for sure. So we'll tell y'all what. So look, hey, we hope y'all enjoyed our rant on credit, because that one burns us up.
The credit used to be so great too. It used to be so you could go to a store. Hey, I'll pay you at the end of the month.
Right.
And you did.
But things have changed, and not always for the better. But that's our rant for credit. So look, check it out. Before we sign off, I got to say once again, you know how we do. Y'all vote for my fabulous over 40 wife, Misty Hobbs. Y'all know we got the thing up there to vote for Misty. I'm pretty sure we're flashing it right now. Y'all know what we do. So definitely vote for Misty. You guys, we know we're part of that Doge, AMC, and Sheba Army, so we got to put that out there. Look, but last but not niece. Yeah, what it is. But anyway, last but not least.
Hi, nieces.
Yeah, exactly. Last but not least, we're gonna sign off. So signing off for DM Watts. I am Davey.
I am Misty.
And you guys, we are DM Watts. Y'all can find us at dmwattspodcast.com. Check all the stuff that we got for you guys out there.
Bye.
Thank y'all very, very much. We appreciate y'all support.